Welcome to the Finance Magnates Blockchain Podcast. I'm Rachel McIntosh. At the present moment, regulation is a huge topic within the cryptosphere. The world's largest economies and most powerful governments don't all see eye to eye about what kinds of regulations should be put in place. China has taken a firm anti-crypto stance. The United States government has sent out mixed messages. Recently, Finance Magnates spoke with Andrey Nayman, founder and CEO of Mikado, about the practical aspects of what cryptocurrency regulations will mean for blockchain firms and their investors.
I do believe that without a proper regulation, there's not going to be proper adoption by the mass market. So the regulation is always a part of any new industry. And regulators, as you probably know, they always coming late to the industry. So right now, the industry, as you probably know, last year, all the ICOs raised almost $7 billion. And from the beginning of this year, the amount of funds that already raised is more than $3 billion. So a lot of investors actually putting their money in risk without a proper regulation. Because right now, any investment is not actually investment. Every investor in each one of the projects, they don't have any particular rights. It's just a contribution without any rights. You will get the token, and if the company will do something, you probably will enjoy from the profit from the token, but not more than that. And the regulators, the main role of regulators is to protect the investors, contributors. Mm-hmm. Do you know what is the difference between the terms contributor to investor?
Can you explain for our audience?
Yeah. First of all, the investors, the term of investment is coming from the traditional industry when investors have rights. The first jurisdiction that actually was proactive in the blockchain, it was Switzerland. The Ethereum ICO was registered in Switzerland with a Swiss company, and every company those days was organized as a foundations. And in foundation, you don't have investor because this company is not for profit. And in order to bring people that would put their money in the company, it was organized under one term, contributor. The contributor, they contribute to the success of the project without any, they don't expect it to earn money from the contribution. And this was the beginning of the term utility token. You contributed to the project, to the foundation. The foundation will bring open source solution to the market, and in case the foundation will successfully distribute their solution to the global market, to the world, you probably would enjoy from the fruits of the tokens. So contribution is a different term from investor, because investor is supposed to get any protection as minority protection in each one of the companies, but generally we don't see any protection right now. So any project that's raising money, it's actually attract early contributors, not investors.
Okay, so kind of in a regulatory context then, how can firms use these kind of semantical terms to their advantage?
Right now, there's no way to use these terms in order to protect yourself.
Okay.
So the role of regulators in any financial market is to protect investors, and the most importantly, non-professional investors from losing their money. So the company, they need to disclose information about the company itself, and they need to protect a contributors. And in the future, I believe that this term will be disappeared and will be exchanged with the standard term investor, because all the tokens will be recognized as a securities.
Okay, so do you think that'll be a global thing, or just within the context of the United States, or any specific country?
United States dictates the rules most of the time. So US, I think they will definitely will declare all the ICOs, and what they're doing, they issuing securities and not utilities. In Switzerland, we saw a month ago that they decided to split the tokens to three categories: utilities, payment, and securities. Mm-hmm. They added new category of tokens. They added payment tokens. But from what we can see right now in the market, that US will treat everything as a securities, and it's gonna significantly improve the understanding of the global market, the position of United States about the blockchain economy, because there's a lot of examples that utility is not actually utility tokens. In utility token, you don't have anticipation for future growth of the token price. And if you do anticipate the growth of the price, it's probably not a utility anymore. And with any project that listing their tokens with exchanges, and yeah, for sure we need these exchanges in order to exchange one token to another, but mainly we are anticipating the growth of the price, incremental growth of the price. So it's not a utility anymore. And in this case, CFTC and SEC, they're absolutely right. They're just one type of tokens, securities. Mm. But with securities, we are going to the all times, and you need to give rights to investors. The contribution will become more strict about jurisdiction. There's no global concept. The good thing about the blockchain, it's open borders. You can actually create a worldwide economy without any borders. But with treating the tokens as a securities is significantly limiting these capabilities in terms of regulation.
Okay. So speaking of jurisdiction and regulations, so because there is blockchain has created this world of open borders, and because cryptocurrency regulation at the moment is very different, in a place like China compared to a place like the United States. How do you think that firms are going to successfully manage to navigate these open borders? What kinds of precautions do they need to be taking?
Right now, any company that's looking to do a global ICO, they think that they have a utility token, they will obtain legal opinion from almost any regulation jurisdiction that they want to distribute the token in. For example, if I'm an Israeli company, but I want to do an ICO, I will register a company probably in Gibraltar or Switzerland, and I will use lawyers from Europe in order to get a European opinion, from US, from probably Korea and Hong Kong, So I will spend a lot of money on legal opinion in order to cover myself with all of these jurisdictions.
Mm-hmm.
Before half year ago, it almost wasn't exist. I probably gone to one regulation, get one opinion, and started my ICO. But right now it's becoming very strict, and the newcomers to the ICO market, we see a trend that more of major companies trying to take the space of the ICO and fundraising through the ICO. They're really cautious about the legal point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the legal aspects, more and more companies choosing to do a private sale, not a public sale anymore. And private sale is the same like it was 10 years ago when we are going physically, we are doing a roadshow, meeting investors, and the industry see a huge decrease in contribution that coming from the public. So because of the regulation, we see that the blockchain concept is very nice. We really like it. We really like the blockchain economy. All of us want to get rid from the middleman, but regulators dictating the rules, and we see that each company, serious company, raising money through the private sale only. And in the future, if regulators will continue with this state of mind, we'll find ourselves at the same era like the pre-blockchain. Beside the technology, it's great, it's very useful, but in terms of fundraising, it's gonna be almost the same like 10 years ago.
Okay. So do you think that is the direction that we're headed in globally?
Right now, yes. The direction from the beginning of 2018, we see more and more companies raising money through the private sale, and less company even trying to do it publicly. Why? Because from one hand, the prices for advertisement, they become very expensive. Almost any agency, PR agency, marketing agency, or companies that dealing with social channels, they increase their price after we see a ban from Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
from Google. You can't anymore use this platform marketing, and other sources became more expensive, and value for money, if you will spend, for example, at the beginning of 2016, the price of the ICO was an average $60,000.
Mm-hmm.
Today, the price of the ICO exceeds $1 million because of the cost of the marketing and the legal costs.
Okay.
So the companies that are looking to do an ICO became very expensive, but more importantly, there's no result. There's no actual funds that raise through the public channels. In additionally, the market is very weak. The prices of the all the currencies and tokens decreased significantly during the last few months. So all these changes making us to look for funds from the old sources. This is angel investors, and this is an angel investors. They don't want to put their money into the utility tokens. They want to get security tokens because they don't want to get just one payment. If the company was very successful and there's a big demand for the token in the public market, they will get X3, X6, X10 on the investment, but they want continuous profits from the company, and for that they need the security tokens.
Mm-hmm. So do you think then that since we're moving kind of in this way towards private sales and big corporations and high costs with ICOs, do you think that this era of, kind of like anyone can participate as an investor or a contributor or however, do you think that is kind of coming to a permanent end?
I think so, yeah. Meanwhile, yes. Meanwhile, if you want to do old style, it's very funny to call it old style ICO because the global audience even didn't have an access or didn't participate in the old style ICOs. But yes, I think that the era of open and global ICOs is almost over, and we can see it over the world, starting from Japan, Korea, that significantly limiting the ICOs, and they starting to regulate exchanges. You see it from China, Russia, France, US. So almost every significant and big country, they actually limiting the abilities to run a global ICO.
Mm-hmm. So talking about now companies who have managed to get their ducks in a row in order to have an ICO, given the current regulatory landscape, what, in your opinion, what do you think the most significant challenges post-ICO are for firms?
First of all, each company that successfully finish the ICO, they need to think about the post-ICO phase. Mm-hmm. And the post-ICO phase starts from listing with exchanges. And today, to list with major exchanges, it became very difficult. And very difficult because of the big demand of these exchanges. Mm-hmm. The tier one exchanges, they're very profitable. And they don't actually need more new tokens, especially a new one without proven liquidity. And for them, it's much easier if you will list your token with a second-tier exchange. You will prove yourself that you've driven a lot of traffic, you have a lot of demand, and then they will consider to add you to their exchange. So first challenge is to add the token to exchange. The second, and not less important, is how you will manage your tokens. So almost each one of the companies that running an ICO, they giving a large bonuses and discounts to their contributors. They're giving bonuses and discounts without a deep understanding how these bonuses and discounts will affect the token price, the price stability of their tokens after they listed their token with exchanges. Mm-hmm. Since it's taking time for the company to grow demand for the token and to increase the liquidity, if you gave a big bonus to your contributor, and once the lockup period of the token is ended, all their tokens will hit the market and probably will crash the price. We see this syndrome that we are calling it ICO flippers. These investors, mm-hmm. they're looking for company, for projects with large bonuses. They investing relatively significant amount of money in order to get the best terms of the deal as possible. And once the token is listed and they're getting an access to the locked tokens, they will sell it almost immediately.
Okay.
By doing this sale, they will crash the price. Once the price of the token is crashed, we see a big impact on the perception of the project. From mm-hmm. one hand, the team and the founders, they're not happy if the token price going below the ICO price. And the contributors that invested their money, they will actually they probably will not be happy, and you will see a lot of wine on the different social platform that this project is scam. So I think that with the project that I'm personally running right now, it's called Mikado, we are trying to solve this problem. And as I mentioned, the origination of the problem coming from a needs of the company to attract early contributors by giving them large bonuses. I think that the right solution is a limitation of the tokens in circulation. How we can limiting the tokens in circulation? We can take a big part of the tokens and to lock them in smart contracts. We will divide the tokens between different expirations in order to trickle these tokens to the market in very small portions. So each expiration will release just a small portion of the tokens to the market, and it will actually will not harm to the token price. By doing this, we will mitigate the price volatility. In addition, we will issue token derivatives. That each derivative of the token, we call it D tokens, it will be connected to the price of the token. The investors that invested in the project, they will get not just tokens of the companies, they will get also the D tokens. D tokens will be connected to the price of the token, the locked token. But despite the fact that the tokens, they are locked, the D tokens are liquid immediately, even before the ICO is ended. So the company can create a mechanism when they controlling the release of the tokens to the market, but the investors will get an access to liquidity. They will get immediate access to liquidity. And additionally to the advantages to the company and to contributors, investors, we will bring more new investors because the price of the D token will be cheaper than the token itself. And it will create intrinsic leverage because of the discount of the price until the expiration. So we will offer immediate liquidity to all the locked tokens in Mikado platform. To define it in one sentence, I think that we are limiting the free circulation of tokens by locking them in Mikado platform. We are dividing these lockups to multiple periods, and each period will release just a small amount of tokens to the market. Together with this process, we will offer immediate liquidity even to the locked tokens to the contributors of the project. And if we are going back, when I mentioned that almost every new project that they're raising money through the private sale, every private sale they're locking their tokens between half a year to a year and a half, like with Telegram. And the investors don't have an access to the tokens for a year and a half. And all of us know that this is a very long period of time and the uncertainty is very high. So we will offer the liquidity to the early contributors. They can resell their rights for the future tokens in the platform.
Okay, so if I am about to hold an ICO and I'd like to make use of Mikado, how would I go about doing that?
Mikado offering a dashboard, control dashboard, when each one of the companies, in order to participate in Mikado platform, they need to fill a request to Mikado.
Mm-hmm.
After they approve, they get an access of the platform in order to create all the expiry dates, how many expiration that they want. For example, a company wants 12 expirations. They will lock part of the tokens in each one of the expirations, and by approving the process, we will give them an access to our API, and through this API, they will trigger 2 smart contracts. One smart contract is the original smart contract of the company that they will use in order to generate the tokens.
Mm-hmm.
The other smart contract will trigger the Mikado escrow smart contract, but the part of the tokens will be locked based on the logic determined by the company. After they will finish the process, Mikado will issue derivative tokens, and these derivative tokens will be transferred to the wallets of the contributors.
Mm-hmm.
Once the contributor get an access to the derivative tokens, it will be traded immediately.
Okay, I see. So just kind of I think we've gone through, actually, I think most of everything that I wanted to cover, but I have one more question, which is, from your perspectives, you've had a lot of experience in this industry as an analyst, as an entrepreneur, and I'm guessing also as a cryptocurrency trader. Do you think that this is a good time to get involved in the blockchain industry if you're a startup or if you're a firm that wants to have an ICO? Do you think that this is a good time, or has the time passed, or is that time coming in the future?
First of all, the era of blockchain it just began. It just in its beginning.
Okay.
Why? Because most of the big companies and corporates, they just stepping in. So I think that the industry is just warming up. I don't think that the era of ICOs is over.
Okay.
The era of ICOs will look completely different after the regulators will really step in, and they will change the rules of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see more adoption of blockchain technology. We will see more interesting project that will come to the market. They will definitely will raise money in different way, not at the global and public ICOs.
Okay.
It's going to be private ICOs. The amount of money that will be raised by the companies, we see a big decrease. I don't believe the company need to raise $150 million for the project.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if the company need to raise $150 million during their lifetime, they can start with $10 million to raise it, to prove their concept, to show mass adoption, and then raise more. So we will see more VC-style ICOs.
Okay. I'm just curious what is your opinion on these firms that have, like Telegram, for example, who wanted to have $1 billion ICO, or Bancor, which had a several $100 million ICO. What do you think the purpose of that is? Do you think that it's legitimate, or what do you think?
I think that a big fundraising of the it's not the company. They don't need, let's say for Banco, they don't really need $150 million. Not run the company to build a product. If you want to build a very good product, you don't need more than $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
With Telegram is the same. Why company raising this amount of money? because they can.
Okay.
There's no other reason. There's no technological or business reasons to raise $2 billion or $150 million for the company. So the companies, when they see a very big hype around them and they understand that they probably will be oversubscribed, they raise a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And the banker, we saw that after the big dump on the price of the Ethereum, they lost part of the contribution as they actually sold their ethers and exchanged it to the fiat money.
Mm-hmm.
And additionally, I don't think that companies, especially startups, they know how to manage $100 million.